Mhm.
Okay, now we should be recording.
Okay.
Oh
Let's see.
no.
No, we got
Okay, we're
wrecked.
good. Oh no. Oh wait, no, we're fine. We're fine. Okay, we're good. We're live. All right.
Alex,
This
stop
is
getting wrecked.
this is the Apple Boom. I'm not doing no. This is the Apple Boom, also known as Alex Fritz, with John Solera here.
Hello, hello.
And for you archive or YouTube viewers, we're part of Team Avalon. Knights. We are the Knights of Avalon. At least some of them. And we're gonna do a first impressions thing on the Inkbrush. I'm gonna go through some regular battles. Real quick, just want to go over my equipment. I'm wearing Tenacity, Ink Saver main. I'm sorry, Ink Recovery up, and Special up. Tenacity will make my special meter go up when I have less people on the field than the other team. Ink Recovery up makes me get ink faster, and Special up makes me get special meter faster, so I can put out more ink strikes.
What's the name of
Actually,
the
no. Wait. Why did I do tenacity? I don't want tenacity. I want ink saver sub, so I can put out more sprinklers.
Alex, what's the... Oh, okay, I found it. Sick. Okay, I'm gonna mute the volume on this because...
Yeah,
Okay, good.
I did that too. All right.
It's hilarious. Actually, I'm gonna mute my mic real quick so I can check how delayed the video is. Yeah?
Sure. And I'm gonna turn off my phone.
Okay. Uh, I'm probably about between 10 and 15 seconds behind.
Shouldn't be too bad.
No, no.
We got a lot of people using the ink brush right now. It's just came out like an hour ago. Yeah, an hour and a half ago. Oh jeez. So we're gonna see a lot of
I popped in ranked with it. Alright, let's see this.
this isn't
Oh,
ranked.
wow. Oh, well, a game. Okay. Roller, nice quick attack, good movement. Really digging that. Oh, See, it looks like... Oh, wow, the refill's really quick on that. That's nice.
Well, that's
Is that...
my sub.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it with your
I
sub?
mean, not my sub. That's my ability. That's not my That's not the weapon itself.
Alright. Swim is about the same. I guess it'd probably make for... Oh, it's got really low ink.
Oh, dang.
Super low.
Well, everybody's the same amount of ink. It's just how fast you eat
I
through
mean,
it.
yeah, looks like it chews through it pretty quickly. Um,
And I did not use an ink strike before I died, and that's my own fault.
oh geez, you died crazy. Oh, it might be longer than that, like 20 seconds delay. Even so.
Oh, I didn't say that right after I died. Okay, ink strike time. For those of you who don't know, I press a point on the map with the touchpad to set that off.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have to we don't have to talk through the basics. That could be a talk for a different time as to getting into like more competitive aspects of it. And, you know, the value of things.
Alright.
Basics like that are just like, you know, in the game.
Also, I want to reiterate, I'm not going to be on my top performance for this. Both because I don't play this weapon, and it's very new.
Alright. That was pretty bad killing power. But again, it's like it's not about that, you know. So I mean, like getting into like the meat of the discussion, the Inkbrush, at least from what I can see, what you've told me, very weak. Quick. You walk very quickly with it. As fast as swimming, you said, right?
I don't know if it's exactly as fast as swimming, but through basic, like, unrigorous tests, it looks like it's as fast as swimming.
It's actually a lot of this work on the map, as far as the ink goes. That was a lot of you, just like opening up the floodgates. And that's kind of the main point of this weapon, just you know, moving further into the main. I think you know, like Sandman, you said he doesn't really doesn't like this weapon.
Well, he doesn't understand this weapon. I don't want to harsh Sandman. I mean, he is currently B ranked, which, I mean, it's not A plus, but it's not C minus either.
See, here's the thing. It's like this is a new game, and so a lot of people see it as kind of unique. But the point being that a lot of people will have a similar perspective in that it's new, and a lot of people who, especially if they're watching from Avalon, are more into fighting games, so shooters, because this is pretty much third-person shooter.
Yeah,
Which is,
no, it's an FPS. It's a third-person shooter.
oh, oh, any, but a lot of people, if they're watching this, probably haven't really gotten into FPS or anything like that, not too seriously, and so they may have similar perspectives on it as that, in that it does have a low killing power. You know, you look. I was watching. It took you quite a few swings to actually, you know,
It's
finish
like
anybody off.
5 or 4 from full health.
Yeah, and compared to the rollers, like typical one-hit KO.
Yeah,
And so,
it's not your typical roller. And on top of that, its swing power seems to have the same amount as if you ran into somebody. So yeah, running power is the same as swing power. Is what I'm trying to say.
I was going to say, when you actually slapped it down, like the other ones, does it? What kind of AOE did it have? I didn't really see.
It's minimal. You have to like spam it to get that stuff out.
But in that it does have very low killing power, and most people will think of shooting, they'll think of like, you know, how fast a gun can kill you, because that's essentially the most important thing. You
That's
think of
why
something-
aerospray was so popular for so long, and it still
Oh.
is pretty popular, but it's not as popular as it once was.
Most definitely. Stepped on my wire. Most definitely. You know, it shoots fast. It's got a decent firepower, but it's mostly the fire rate that really seals the deal. Kind of inaccurate, but you move quickly enough in this game that you can hop on top of somebody and kind of kill them before they really know what's going on. In a lot of scenarios, honestly, especially the perspective with like the perspective of the game, it's quite close to you. So if you know somebody comes in and yank behind you, you're not gonna have any time to react, and you'll be dead. But oh jeez. See, now do other rollers expend to ink like this?
Not really. I don't. Not that my experience. To be honest, I'm more of a Charger player. And when I'm not a Charger player, I'm a Splattershot Pro player. But if I have had some experience with Dynamo Roller.
Now, actually, I kind of want to talk about it. It's a bit back, right, to before you died. Now, we consider it, what did you do with that life, right? You essentially ran in, and you just made this big line. You splattered around some to get ink and all that. But you made this big line into, like, the main area, and your team can follow up on that. And that's the value. That's what we're really talking about with this new weapon, it looks like, right?
Yeah.
Because you're essentially swimming all the time. It's not about killing people. A lot of games aren't really like as much about killing people. I mean, the better weapons are going to be more favorable because they give you advantage, right? But this gives you the different kind of advantage. In that movement's a gigantic part of Splatoon, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Ah! You traded.
With this, you've got that movement all the time. That's super important. You're not as evasive, but you also have the option to duck back relatively quickly. Which is something I actually really like. It makes that really... It gives you the real concise line. Alright, I just saw what you traded. It gives you this really concise line of ink that lets you backpedal almost immediately. When you see a threat, you're able to dip out.
That's also what good Chargers usually have behind them. Just to put that out there.
Yeah, you can just throw a clear line of ink behind you, but this follows you everywhere. So it's not a straight line, you're a little bit harder to hit. Oh, okay.
Hey.
I was wondering who is that. I'm not actually over there, I'm just watching the stream and we're commenting on it. I messaged Alec earlier and he told me about the new weapon coming out, so I said, hey, let's stream it, talk about it.
For those on watching archive, we are talking to the assassin who's currently in the stream chat. I'm sorry.
Anyway, so where were we?
I could have joined. You can join if you want to. We're on Skype.
But being that movement is so important, this is exactly what it gives you. It gives you gigantic movement options, right? And that's honestly what I think the value. It's Skype. How do you think? How? You dork. But that's what I think the value of rollers are.
Oh, they lost somebody.
That's lame. And I talked to you about that. That I think rollers are kind of only good in team play for covering large swatches of area. Oh, somebody else was using the Inkbrush.
Oh, it was super popular. The first time I hopped into unranked with this, my entire team was using Inkbrush, and half the opponent's team was using Inkbrush.
You must have lost pretty hard. Oh
We
wait,
didn't
was
lose
it
that
Tofu?
hard.
Was it Tofu?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and that's the game mode that I can imagine the rollers and especially this to be, right? Because like I said, it covers those areas, and because of its movement bonuses, it means you can dip in and out, and that's something that the typical rollers actually miss because you walk quite slow with them. You know the what is it, the Kraken and the Dynamo?
Um, well, the Dynamo is the big roller. The normal
Yeah.
one's just called the roller. Kraken is like is a
The
different.
sub.
It has different subs and stuff, but it's
I
just
think that's the standard
roller.
one.
Well, no, that's actually not the standard one. The standard one has Sticky Bomb and Killer Whale, but Kraken's popular because it has the Kraken.
Yeah. Everybody loves a Kraken. But anyway, so it has what the other rollers don't, and that's movement.
But yeah, other
Yeah.
rollers are slower than walking when you use them.
Yeah, and in a movement-centric game, it's important to keep on to that, you know? So it gives it a lot of value that others don't. Now, see, oh my god, there were two fat rollers on the other side.
Yeah, one was a normal, one was a Dynamo.
And in Tofu, I think having maybe one Dynamo.
Oh, come on! I ran out of ink right before I ran up to the guy.
I think as the game develops, having one roller, maybe even the Dynamo roller. Oh god, I saw you pass that guy. That was pretty spooky. Oh, that's so unfortunate. But I think having one roller will actually be super important. Because I mean, we talked a little bit about the team dynamic, as far as how I think it evolve, and I don't remember if you gave too much input.
Also, we want to tell everybody watching, this is just speculation. We're not pretending to be experts at this because
Yeah.
the game's not even a week old at this point.
Super fresh. Yeah, that's half the reason we're doing this. You know, it's a very new thing. It's a very fun game, honestly. But I did have some gripes about it, but that was probably just more in the heat of the moment than anything else. I do think it's really cool, and I like seeing movement-based combat outside of fighting games. You know.
Yeah. There, got him this time. Oh, he moved. No. Roll away or paint away.
Paint away, run quick. Run like speed of lightning.
Okay, where's everybody?
Yeah, I think rollers are like heavy utility weapons. Sure, they do have like the one-hit kill power. I don't think that's really as important though, because the idea is that if the ground isn't like covered in ink, it's kind of like it would be a win more weapon in a lot of situations, right? Because at the point that rollers are actually useful. Oh wow, that guy popped right on you when you used the ink strike.
Yeah, Ink Strike's probably the least safe super in the game to use.
See, like a lot of this ink right here was like that was all you, just you running around, splatting around. And I really think that this will be great in Splat Zone, right? I think this weapon in particular will really shine because it lets you. It's going to let you get to those neutral Splat Zones like immediately, right?
Yeah.
No one's going to get there.
The very first, I made a mistake of hopping into rank right after this was announced, and I got two rollers on my. I'm sorry, two ink brushes on my team. Ugh. Yeah, I got two ink brushes on my team, and one person just ran forward, and we all swam behind him, and we got there super fast.
Yep, exactly. And see, that's the real value. This literally paves the way for your team to come in and aggress. And I think the early aggression is going to be super key because then you'll be able to lock down the area. And I really felt like Splatoon is kind of a win-more game. I talked about that. In that when you're winning, because ink is also super detrimental to your opponents, it's really hard to move around. Spreading ink is slow with a lot of weapons in comparison to things like rollers. I really feel like once you're in
I
a
have
winning...
no idea how we pulled that out. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, it's fine. I just feel like when you're in a winning position, you're much better off. Like, it's much easier to fortify it than in other games, you know? And it offers a lot of positional advantage.
Oh yeah.
But I really think the Inkbrush is going to be super. And I think you also said that You thought Splat Zones is probably going to be like the competitive default.
That's what it's looking like right now. It could change. We have no idea how we don't know the rules of Rainmaker at all, and we don't know how tower defense or tower control is going to work. If anybody doesn't know, tower control is pretty much like payload in TF2. But tower control is not in the game yet. It's one of the things they're adding over the summer. So now all we have right now is Splat Zones and Turf War. Although Splat Zones and Turf War at the highest level actually start to play out very similarly. So we might just see Turf War take off as the main competitive mode because it's the main mode of the game. But right now it's looking like Splat Zones.
See, it's actually there's actually something to what you said. Most definitely about Turf War and Splat Zones playing out the same, and that you talked a lot about the line of contention that evolves as Turf War goes on, and that both teams start in the neutral position and move towards the center naturally. It's kind of just what you gravitate to. Now, and this is actually why I think Splat Zones is an excellent competitive type. It's because the zones are all neutral, in that they stay exactly where they are. I don't think it's going to be a one and the other because
Can you read out that thing if you're gonna
the assassin asked me what I think of a team having one roller compared to a team with one roller and one brush, and I actually think that'll be a huge detriment because it doesn't give you the raw aggression or the fortifying power you need. See, I really feel like, and I just said it, that rollers are utility, or alternatively they're like win more in that. When you're already winning, a roller helps you continue doing that because you're able to move with it and it's a one-hit kill. Sure, you have to charge up, but with the movement bonus, you can encroach on someone really quickly and it'll give you the edge you need. Alternatively, from a neutral position, I think a lot of rollers and Applebloom, you disagree with me on this one, in that I think the rollers are really bad from just like a neutral position.
Oh, from a neutral position. No, I don't think I think rollers in the end, they're very good at doing a similar job to the charger. They're very good at fortifying. But that's more in Turf War. In Splat Zones, it seems the rollers have a more nebulous and unclear definition of what they want to do. It seems to me that the main reason to use roller is either you have the dynamo for its huge range and one-hit killing power, and then you have just both dynamo and normal roller to constantly get giant swaths of ink to charge up your super and use supers.
But because
I didn't get out in time.
I was gonna say, can you hear me, Assassin? He'll hear that a little bit, and I'll get the answer from him. But yeah, I think that in a lot of cases, rollers are kind of bad. And is that a killer whale?
Yes.
Oh gosh, that's
really
terrifying. It walked right up to you. Oh, killer whale! Like,
yeah,
that's cute.
like it's yelling, but also it's a whale. Sorry, there's a fire engine outside my house.
Good theming. But anyway, I really think the rollers are they're bad to aggress with in a neutral position. They're not bad in I don't think rollers are necessarily bad in neutral. I think they're bad at being aggressive, having the killing power you need. And in the end, as much as this game's not about killing people, I mean, in every game mode, I don't think there's really like, wow, I just saw that roller slap down on you. Holy crap.
That was a dynamo.
That was terrifying. But yeah, I totally lost my train of thought right there. Right, this game's not this game's not about killing people. None of the game modes keep track of score for killing people, as far as I know.
I mean, they keep track of your splats and deaths on the side.
I mean, like the scoreboard's not like necessarily it's not like a TDM style where it's like you need splats to win, that they count towards something.
No. Although one thing that's interesting, which I think is a detriment, is in Splat Zones, the end of game rankings, instead of it being based on points like Turf War, because there are none that are like that, everything's shared. It ranks you based off of how many kills you got, and then if you tie for somebody with kills, then it'll rank you on how many deaths you had. And I think it's a bad thing because it, if you let me just tangent for a quick second,
Oh,
I
sure.
think it's a bad thing because even though it doesn't actually affect the game, that type of ranking encourages people to go straight for kills, and a lot of time that's not what you want.
Exactly. You definitely my thoughts as well. It affects the player's perceptions, and it kind of gears it away from. It's not. It gears it towards a personal victory as opposed to a team victory. It's a lot of the same in It's kind of like in League of Legends, right? Most people, when they're in a winning position, will end up pushing out too far, and they get punished for it, or they don't use what power they have properly, and then they end up blaming their team for losing because they don't quite understand what they did wrong. And it's a lot in how they perceive things, mostly, not mostly, but partially due to the scoreboard, because that only tracks kills, deaths, assists. So the idea is that you have to be part of killing someone in order to be affecting your team, and that's wrong. That's sort of an archaic way of thinking as far as gaming goes, in my opinion.
I don't know if you can exactly call that archaic because it's not like that's ever been a thing.
I mean, it's games in a lot of like gaming in the beginning, as far as competitive stuff. It was about killing the other guy. That was kind of what it was geared towards. It was like the early shooters. They had mostly TDM style modes or like free for all style modes.
Yeah, that's true.
And they didn't really they didn't encourage the team play as much.
I mean, even right now, from what I saw, although I could be completely wrong, actually, what's his name? The Yoshi from California. What's his name?
I'm not sure.
I don't remember his name. Signia.
Oh, the Yoshimitsu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Signia, he's actually into arena shooters, and he was talking to me about them a little bit. It seems like a lot of arena shooters right now, their main mode is 1v1, just kill count. And yeah, it's interesting.
I mean, if it's a 1v1 setting, I mean, what else are you going to do? I'm not honestly sure why. I don't play a lot of arena shooters. Like the closest thing I can compare is I played Quake on the I think it was on the Dreamcast a few times. But that's like honestly the extent of my experience with those kinds of things. I think maybe just the gameplay is just different.
It's very odd. Because it's one thing where it was this strange type of gameplay that people came up with when they were experimenting back in the day. This is my opinion on it. It was some strange gameplay people came up with when they were experimenting back in the day. And due to their experimentation and engine limitations, you got this really odd system. And people only really still play that old system because that's what it was. Like, if that were to come out nowadays, it would be this weird thing that too many people probably wouldn't be interested in.
We're getting a little bit off topic there.
Here.
Basically that, the idea is that in the end, the way games were, they are now, is that people promote the idea that kills are the thing that really mattered. And it's something you see in a lot of games. Ooh, I did not think you were going to get that one kill.
And the only reason I went down is because somebody behind me.
Yeah, there was a second person there, super... And this weapon is, like, super weak. But, I mean, see, here's the thing. I think Inkbrush will be really bad in, like, solo ranked style plays. Where you just kind of queue into a game and you find some random teammates, because there's not a whole lot of,
Ah!
Oh, wait, is it when you're out of ink, you don't run as quickly?
I don't think so.
Okay, I thought I saw that for just a
But I'm
minute.
saying I don't think you run. I think you're right. Is what I meant to say.
Yeah. Because it does have a very... Oh my god, that Kraken, though. That dude just walked up to you.
And then he didn't do anything.
Oh yeah, see, crack on. Splat roller.
Yeah, that's the name. That's the brand name.
Yeah.
Because there's different brands in this. Oh, come on.
Ooh, you should not have chased that Dynamo guy down. You cannot fight him. And again, that's just kind of testament to what I was saying, in that I think this will be really... Is he just gonna sit there in your spawn and try to... Well, that's lame. But look, like, you were right there and swinging at him, like, wildly, and you couldn't handle it. And that's exactly what's going to happen, I think, when you use this game in solo ranked play. Right? because you're going to queue in. And there's going to be three randoms who you can't communicate with. That's actually I don't know. It's actually something I want to ask about. What's communication like in this game?
You've got the come on and the booyah. Here's booyah. And then come on. That's down on the D-pad. Come on is up on the D-pad.
But there's no.
This is insane.
There's no direct communication though.
No.
I think it's. I mean, it's Nintendo, so I'm not surprised.
My gosh, this is crazy.
But I think that's actually a huge detriment to solo ranked play. And like, while this game is like, it looks.
I think it would be a bigger detriment if you asked me if there was voice chat because of how salty people would get and how hostile it would get.
Griefing is definitely a problem, but the issue is that you're kind of losing from the beginning if you can't coordinate things. And this, again, it's a game that's not even necessarily about. Because in a lot of games, I mean, I'm kind of going back on what I was saying there. In games that are based around kills, a lot of it can just be from your own personal skill, and you can carry a team. That doesn't really exist in this game. If you're like, even if you're wildly better than most people in the game, maybe not wildly. Like, I don't want to make the skill bonus that huge, but if you're like definitively better, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can carry yourself to a victory, because it's all objective-based gameplay. And so if your team's not with you, it's going to be a huge problem. And communication is just sort of it is the medium.
Yeah, that is definitely a huge problem. Below, like around B minus and below, people don't know exactly what they're supposed to do, and so you get your random person who does really dumb stuff and you can't do anything about it. But I've been playing B plus more and some of B, and people start to get smarter there and actually have an idea of what they're doing, and they'll listen to cues. Like you can like one major cue you can do is just spam one of the two communications. That's pretty much a universal look at this spot, see what's going on here. And that's been very useful.
I mean, it's all you have. You have to adapt to it. But that's why I think that this game, and what we're really talking about here is how competitive play will turn out, because that's sort of the important thing to notice. I mean, would you agree with me when I say that I think the Inkbrush is going to be terrible in solo ranked up until like the highest echelons of play?
Probably. It'll probably be hard to use, because I fulfill a similar role, because I main E-leader, the long-range sniper in ranked play. I fulfill a similar role, but one that's easier to solo, and
because you don't have to put yourself out there as much, and you actually have killing power too.
Yeah. Like, actually, if I could tell a quick story, there was one time, right before the Inkbrush came out, actually, like a few minutes beforehand, I went into a ranked match with the E-leader, and the other team had an E-leader. We were on Arowana Mall, and pretty much immediately, both teams got up to the point as fast as they could, because this was all pretty much B+ users. We all knew what we were doing. And then, we went up there, and then almost immediately, my entire team died to him, and then his entire team died to me. And then they came back, and it happened again. We're both standing there in the same exact position on opposite sides of the map, and we just both took out the entire enemy team except for their charger, 2 times in a row. It was great.
I saw there was another guy within Inkbrush. He walked by. You just kind of slapped him a few times.
Yeah, I was totally confused what he was doing. And then I screwed up because I ran out of ink. Because I'm not good at looking at my ink. I'm a charger user, so I base my ink based off of how many shots I have left. And when it gets to more of this flow type of ink management, I'm not used to it. But what were we getting at before I said that quick story? Oh yeah, the use in competitive. See, it depends on like what it ends up being used for. That was interesting. If it ends up being used for, why are they not paying attention to me? Am I like
Yeah.
have a bad connection? I feel like I have a fine connection. People are not paying attention to me.
You have an Inkbrush, they can ignore you. See, that's the thing. It's not a directly impactful weapon. It's not like the other rollers. If you just walk by them, they'll kill you. The Inkbrush is really not something you have to worry about. Which is kind of.
Well, no, he was flat out ignoring me, and if I stayed there, I could hit him 5 times and kill him. And like, that's a long time when it comes to killing power, but that's not a long time when it comes to like general time.
Yeah. No, 5 swings takes probably like two or 3 seconds at most. You know. maybe there is something weird about your connection, but I mean, in all sincerity, it's like if you have something more immediately pressing to handle, the Inkbrush is not your priority.
Maybe that was what it was.
Yeah, it's not something you have to immediately concern yourself with. It's not the guy with the dynamo roller who just rolled up on you from behind and you're like, well, I guess that's my life. That would suck. It's not, the guy it's not you sitting up there with an E-leader. Like, I'm gonna cover all of this area. Good luck walking through. Like, how am I gonna dodge him? Like, you're not thinking like that with an Inkbrush at this point, especially since you don't really know what it's doing yet. All you know is that he's there and you're not dying. Well, guess it's time to move on.
Actually, I do want to mention another thing that I just remembered about the communications. I think Nintendo of America kind of dropped the ball on part of the communications because both Nintendo of America and Nintendo of Europe translated the communications differently. And Nintendo of America made it "come on" and "booyah." And Nintendo of Europe made it for English users, "follow me" and "nice." And I can tell you, there is a huge difference between the meaning of "come on" and "follow me."
Oh, definitely.
And with the cross-regional play, having people have the same button for completely different, for completely different phrases, does not make any sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, thematically, I can understand, the vernacular, right?
But they could have at least teamed up then, instead of doing 2 different things.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hey, maybe they have bad communication. Oh, look at that. Look what happened.
And a lot of, what do they call it? They call it the silo effect.
The silo effect?
It's a business term. It's, when 2, silos, like you're imagining 2 farm silos, they both work towards the same goal, but they never have contact with each other. One famous example actually of the silo effect was America's handling of Al-Qaeda in the 90s. Because when they looked at it afterwards, they saw the FBI knew this, the CIA knew this. They never talked to each other. They might have gotten something done if they talked to each other. So that's a big example of the silo effect. And now I'm sitting here waiting for people in the lobby, and that almost never happens.
Maybe it's late or something. I don't know, maybe you should try, like, dipping out of the lobby and coming back in.
I probably should dip out anyway, because I want to cash in my kill streak. I mean, my win streak. You get these, I don't know if you can see it. I have those flags, and it says "so hot."
Yeah.
When you get a win, you get a flag. If you get a loss and you're in the first tier, you'll lose half a flag. In the second tier, you'll lose 1 flag. And in the third tier, you'll lose a flag and a half. If you have at least 6.5, then you can go talk to Judd in the main area, and he'll give you 1,000 gold.
Hyles just asked if we were on Skype doing this. Like, gee, I don't know. Anyway, just us. Oh, even so.
So he's not getting on?
I don't know, he just texted me and asked about it, and I told him, yeah, we're on Skype, so he might get on Skype and message you.
I hope so.
But, even so. So, discussion at hand, right?
Get away!
So in a lower to mid-level solo,
Get away! Gotcha. Sorry. I'm just getting caught up in the moment. I should not be killing. I don't know why I'm killing. Well, I died. Alright, go on.
so I mean, I personally think that the Inkbrush will be kind of less than impressive as far as solo rank play, but in competitive play, I think it's going to be a great aggressing tool in the, wow, you got rolled over. Holy crap, destroyed. But, see, now the thing is, it may not see a lot of play, and here's my reasoning. You can't swap loadouts mid-game, and so this is great for early aggression. And mind you, games aren't super long, so we're not going to see a point where, you know, late game, the area is kind of dominated with ink, and, you know, it's already easy to move around. It's going to be a great early aggression tool, because it's going to get you and your team exactly where you want to be. The problem is, as the game goes on, they already sort of have these familiar pathways, and unless the other team aggresses really far into your base, you're going to keep those pathways, and then you'll just be stuck with the Inkbrush. And, you know, the value of its movement kind of deteriorates over time.
I actually, that's one thing I think your inexperience shows there. Pathways change constantly. And so having something that can open pathways up like that is a huge deal. That's actually what I find to be my main role as the E-Leader user on Port Mackerel, this map that I'm playing right now. You see these corridors that I'm looking down in the middle. If I take E-Leader, I can just shoot down those corridors and cover them up entirely for my teammates to swim down. And my entire game is basically making sure those corridors stay covered. Where did the guy go? Well, anyway, yeah, making sure those corridors stay covered, because not only does that keep the avenue open for my team, it blocks all entries for my opponents. So having something that can both create and destroy pathways quickly and constantly is a huge asset.
Well, see, here's the thing about it. Oh, I saw that mine. Good dodge. And then you died anyway. Oops. Here's the thing about it. Regular rollers get better as time goes on because the initial ink is down to where they can move to actual impactful points on the map to give those huge ink spreads. And that's why I think the Inkbrush will deteriorate in value over time, because at a point you're going to want a regular roller on your team, because you can already kind of get up to the first third of the map, the first half of the map, with the initial pathways created that are pretty much exclusive to your team due to their positioning. And from there, especially if it's corridor-style maps most of the time, that's where the rollers will end up shining, because you can, hide behind a block around a corner, throw out an ink spray for you and your team to go down, you'll clear the area, if only temporarily.
Yeah, and those ink sprays are also really powerful, and they reach further than you think. Especially, you won't see good ink spray in these random turf war lobbies, because matchmaking's random in turf war. It's like completely random. Aside from, like, there's a small pocket of noobs that they let you play with when you first start out, but then it throws you to the main complete randomness very quickly.
Oh no, your win streak.
Yeah, that's why I actually went back in. But yeah, it's completely random. So you will see a lot of just okay roller users. But if you were to go into ranked, the higher levels of ranked, even medium levels of ranked, you'll see rollers who actually have an idea what they're doing. And one of the best things to do as a roller is to, when you're doing your attack, jump so that it comes out at the apex of your jump. It makes the range probably like 1.5 times farther. We have 4 rollers on our team.
Oh no. This is going to be great or terrible. I don't know which yet.
2 of them are ink brushes.
Oh, this could be bad, maybe? Yeah.
We'll find out. Ow.
See, the thing, and Pyle's actually asked about this, and I didn't really get into it a lot. He asked about the dynamic of having one straight roller and one ink brush. And in theory, it actually sounds really good. because you have the Inkbrush go out immediately, the roller can swim right behind them, move into key areas, and ink them for the rest of your team. The problem is, as the game progresses, it's not even as the game progresses.
I traded with an arrow spray. That's stupid.
I think it's good for you, though.
Oh, it's very good. That's why I said it's stupid.
But I actually think it's Sorry, I was saying something. So, having one roller and having one ink brush, right? It's, in theory, it sounds like a cool idea because you can have the heavy rollers aggress immediately into key locations. The issue is that you won't have the offensive power required that's offered by more standard weapons, right? What do you think about that?
Could you summarize that really quickly? I was actually a little too much into the game.
That's fine. I don't think having more than one roller on a team... Essentially, it's more than one roller in general. I don't think having an ink brush on a roller gives you the offensive power required to hold points.
Oh, I think right now, at this stage... Alright, by the way, when I'm saying this, I do not count the Squelcher as a charger. I count the Squelcher as a odd gun. It's really more of a gunner type of weapon, how you play it. But anyway, any team with more than one charger or more than one roller is inherently gimped. That's how I feel right now.
Well, most definitely. It's just because those aren't versatile weapons. And they're not versatile in the same way.
Get wrecked.
I think rollers are heavy utility, and they're sort of like shotguns in that they have super close range and they're really dangerous. And chargers, they're really strong and they come with good swatches of ink, but they're really slow. They're not like super slow, but compared to like regular guns, they're kind of slow, and that's another problem with the rollers.
Get wrecked! Oh shit! He did it on my position. Get out!
I think you're definitely correct when you say that they're gimped.
Just want to say real quick, this is part of why I really love Splatoon. Just all this movement-based combat makes things so hectic. And you're like, ugh, yes, barely pulled something out and then you can run away and stuff like that. Type of stuff.
Oh, I feel like that ink strike.
Yeah, I feel like you just can't do that in non-movement-based games. You don't have those tight moments.
You see, the thing is, it's a matter of a lot of those shooters don't have persistent weaponry, right? I mean, honestly, when I think of like a competitive shooter, I think of CS:GO. And CS:GO doesn't have like persistent threats. When the enemies are cleared, you're safe, more or less, unless you're just in a bad position overall. At least that's how I would more or less imagine it goes. Whereas in this game, you have stuff like ink strikes and killer whale. Actually, I kind of wonder if competitive play will feature supers.
What do you mean if it'll feature supers?
I mean, you can't take off subs, can you? Not subs. It's like Kraken and Killer Whale and Ink Strike. Those are supers, right?
Yeah, you can't take them off. They're inherent with the weapon.
So you wouldn't be able to just like not use them. I mean,
you could just make it so people aren't allowed to press the right stick, just how you're not allowed to pause. But I don't think supers do any. See, when it comes to balancing and banning things, by the way, I headed into training mode to show people stuff. Alright, so up close it looks like it kills in 3. Or 4. I'm not totally sure. But anyway, when it comes to banning stuff, I feel like you have to have you start with the default of what's in the game, and if you were to ban something, you have to have a compelling reason to ban it. Not a compelling reason to keep something in, but a compelling reason to ban something. That's how I feel about banning things.
I mean, I don't think they're like ridiculously overpowered. There's not one that's like inherently better. They all have different uses. Actually, there's actually one thing that'll set me on it. Do you retain supercharge when you die?
You lose half of your current charge.
So you keep some, and you can build.
Unless you have Super Saver, if you have the Super Saver ability. I'm not counting stack, because stacked abilities will not be relevant. Unless like, something major happens, stacked abilities are not going to be relevant due to the huge diminishing returns. If Super Saver makes it so that you, instead of losing half, you lose a third when you die.
Yeah, I don't think that's really relevant. I think there are more important things to get.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends though, you know. It depends. See, the thing is, weapons have inherent roles. They don't have inherent roles, but I think that they'll have specified roles, right? Um, chargers will be able to fortify positions and snipe out opponents. Rollers can cover huge ground, and they have massive offensive pressure when you're close in. But that's so. I think if they were like enclosed splat zones, that would be more relevant. But it's not. And then your gunners are more just they're just versatile, right? And the supers each have roles, right? In similar fashion.
Yeah.
The Kraken can help you bust lines. The Ink Strike can kind of make you stay out of certain areas. It helps the zone. The Killer Whale does something very similar, just in a different stretch of area, in my opinion.
Its killer whale reaches the entire map, by the way.
hmm So yeah, I think the Killer Whale just kind of it does the same thing as an Ink Strike, just in a different stretch of area.
Well, the difference between a killer whale cannot take an area unless people are in it. An ink strike can.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, you can use Ink Strike to cover zones.
Yeah, because it's ink.
Yeah. Huh. I wasn't sure if it worked that way or not. It seems like really logical, so not bothered by it. So it could also be used to just retake quick areas or to provide small openings for your team in crowded places. The beginning of this match, what are you doing? You're running up. You're running up as fast as you can with your team right behind you to create these strange areas for them to come to.
Oh, come on! That was stolen from me. Oh, what?
No such thing as kill steal, only kill secured.
No, I mean, it was stolen from me by the tractor. You'll see it coming up.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that tractor. Help. Oh yeah, I see the area that it covers. For a minute I thought there was someone on the enemy team rolling straight at you. It was terrifying for a second. So, oh yeah, but back to the discussion about the. Oh my god, I thought you were getting crushed by that tractor.
No, you can't.
You went straight up it. Yeah. Anyway, I think I'm not really sure how the Inkbrush will play out. It would obviously depend more on the meta.
That guy looks so stupid.
Right. Because
I'm sorry.
yeah, it's fine. But like TF2, a lot of it is sort of like it's variable gameplay, but there's like a lot of standards that are just it's like there's like a standard meta, to which classes you have, which is the most effective parry, right? And so it would obviously depend on how the meta evolves, but this is the Inkbrush is kind of unique in that it's not really it's not a roller per se. It doesn't do the same things. It has like a specified purpose of
I ran into him and killed him. I'm so happy.
but it has the specified purpose of aggression.
But it seems like a very rush down. If I were to make a fighting game term fit here, it feels like a rush down weapon.
Well, yeah. Actually, I don't know if I would say that because it doesn't put pressure on the player. It puts pressure on the area. Now you can argue and say something like, the area is your objective, so it's essentially the same thing as putting pressure on a player. But they don't necessarily feel threatened by your presence, and you don't personally force them off of areas. That's the difference between this and a roller. In that a roller forces your opponent to give ground.
Only if they don't see you coming though. Which I mean, because rollers are so easily just taken out.
I mean, if they don't have a track to swim on, then absolutely, because they're slow, they're predictable. That's the biggest thing, and they have the charge up time. So I guess if you're gonna make a comparison, I think they're a lot closer to like a grappler archetype.
See, I would think the normal rollers are like that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The normal rollers are closer to like grappler archetypes. I don't think you can really classify it as per like a typical fighting game archetype, and that's just me.
Oh yeah, you definitely can't call it like a definite. I was just making more of a general comparison. I don't mean to make definites, because of course this is a different type of game.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can see where you're coming from though, but it would depend on how the meta evolves, and I've said that enough times already. But if we see teams that are focused towards taking that early aggression, I think the Inkbrush is going to see a lot of play. Because that's exactly what it does. It gives you such a heavy advantage in the beginning because it lets you encroach on a single area really quickly. The problem with that is that it may become predictable, right? So let's consider team mechanics like this. We have one Inkbrush, then we have a roller to follow them up, which is, it goes against what I just said. But I'm thinking of just like some early aggression in that you have the roller, you have the Inkbrush, and then the roller come in to splat the area, and then you have like two light gunners to follow them up to clear out some presence and to give some range, right? I think that'll be a really heavy like early aggression style team. You know, if you have like two people with air sprays coming in after them, then they're going to be clearing out the area for people, and it'll let you take that early lead. The problem with that is that it's going to be like difficult to fortify. So I think the idea is that if you can snowball early, using the advantage given to you by the Inkbrush, then you can close out games. You know, assuming like splats. Meanwhile, if you have to play the long game with it, I think it's going to be really difficult. Because it's hard to aggress into territory with the Inkbrush that's already been taken.
See, that makes it, it reminds me of just how, chargers tend to play out. Like, a good charger will, a good charger played well against a, like, outskilling, or outplaying your opponent, can take out an entire team. And then you could possibly snowball it from there to just win the match, since they're just out immediately, and they don't have to respawn. But at the same time, if they don't get that, the Chargers can play the long game.
And so I think having one charge, I don't know about having two, because I don't think it's that kind of weapon.
No, I don't think it's, like I said, I think you're inherently gimped if you have more than one charger, not counting the,
It's definitely a good swing weapon.
the Swiffer. The Swiffer plays more like a gunner.
I think chargers are really good swing weapons. They can swing the tempo of a game really heavily if they can get some good shots off. But from neutral, I think gunners are probably the best, just because of versatility available to them. They have good kill times, they have good movement, they have decent coverage, that kind of thing.
The other thing is, someone wrote a guide up recently explaining you've probably heard of anchors.
Yeah.
Like this person was explaining stuff in terms of anchors from Black Ops 2.
Oh wait, Black Ops 2. Maybe I'm not so familiar then.
It was somebody who would stay back and make it would pretty much be a spawn point. It would be somewhat back from the objective. So people can come easily. That's a fact. Like chargers can also fulfill that role, and the paintbrush can't.
Yeah, because you can super jump right on top of them. And they're in a naturally fortified position, they have to be. That makes a lot of sense. Because they don't have to aggress too far, so they'll always be able to put down more markers so you can jump in. And then you just kind of play the game of find them. And there's another thing, right? So, let's consider this, right? If you make your initial rush with an Inkbrush, and you don't succeed, you're not able to get the early. Let's say you're not able to succeed, you're not able to aggress into certain areas, or your team doesn't follow up, so the aggression you do make is sort of wasted. See, that's the thing about it. You can waste a lot of effort with this weapon, I think, if you don't have really good follow-up. You need super solid follow-up in order to make the most of it.
Hey, we added Hiles, the assassin.
Anyway, I think this weapon, if you don't have really solid follow-up, will just be wasted. It'll waste a slot for sure. Because it is really weak in almost every area. It's just a matter of the speed you can aggress with it to cover areas with ink. Right? Like I said, so if your early aggression doesn't pay off, nice win streak, bro. 8.5.
See, that makes me wonder, it's like, even though I'm not getting good points, I wonder if I'm actually doing a good job with this weapon. Since I'm consistently winning.
I mean, you're doing exactly what you need to. You're just running around inking, you know? You're not trying to really kill people if the opportunity presents itself, right?
But I'm saying I don't ink as, I'm not inking as much as others.
You
This
know?
is interesting to watch. I'm just gonna watch this.
I'll see
He
it.
left.
Hiles?
No,
Yeah.
no. I'm saying the opponent left.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's some bullshit.
Alright. Here's what I was asking earlier. Can you guys hear me, right?
Yeah.
Alright, here's what I was asking earlier, which brings a good point about the brush. Now, I haven't seen too much of the brush footage from when you guys were playing, but from what I'm getting from it,
Wow, that guy
I,
goofed up.
I see it's faster than the roller. Like, your speed is a lot faster than the roller.
It's faster than everything. It's about the same. Oh, somebody was there. It's about the same speed as
Swimming.
swimming.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
See,
really good.
And this is what I was talking about. You probably didn't hear most of the discussion, but what it basically boiled down to is that the quick speed and the fact that you can ink at the same time lets you aggress really early on into key zones, and if your team follows you up, you can quickly take those zones that are important, and it allows you to fortify. But I don't think you'll get that follow-up in solo ranked, and
Ah!
if you don't...
Sorry.
If you don't get that follow-up in competitive, or your early aggression doesn't pay off, I feel like it's going to be a wasted slot, because the other team will be fortified at that point. And the only...
I'm getting out. See, that's another thing, real quick, people don't remember. You can retreat. Retreat is an option. That means you're just doing something somewhere else, as opposed to dying, which means you're not doing anything.
Makes perfect sense. Oh, he bubbled on you.
Yeah. Now, what I was continue saying is, from the little I've played with this, and from what I've seen with it, I am very strongly behind the fact, and the idea that, for Turf War, I believe there should be at least one roller per team. I don't think it'll hurt if you don't have a roller, but I think more than one roller is very dangerous.
Yeah, I was saying that before. I think, not including squiffers, because they're a different type of weapon. I said that I think, dang it, if a team has more than one charger or more than one roller, they're inherently gimped.
Yeah. Now, looking at it as I don't think like they should have more than one roller. I am thinking about the fact that it would be really okay and helpful with one brush and one roller.
Now, why do you think
Depending-
that?
Now it depends on what it really depends on what I think the other members can do. But if with the brush, if you're able to get in really quickly, the brush and the roller can really stick together, and that could really help the roller get it. Since the roller is a lot slower than anyone else, even even the splatter shot or the splatter shot junior, it helps the roller get to areas quickly to then take over the area and then to get out.
The problem is, neither the roller or the brush, if we're going to consider the brush different than the roller in the same way we consider the squiffer different than the roller, different than a charger. The problem is, both of those are short-range options. They can't deal with long range, and that's why rollers are terrible in a straight-up fight unless you inherently start out with the advantage by sneaking up on them or something.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's
it's
why
like-
I don't think they can stand together, because they would just be totally outclassed by long-range weapons, which they'll be outranged by pretty much the entire other part of the game.
That's why I'm on the fence with brush and roller, and why I'm still really strongly, like I said, with only one roller per team. Now the brush, if it's one brush per team instead of roller, then I feel there's really got to be a lot of communication between the members. Like Solaire was just saying, you're not going to get that much with online. You're not going to get too much of that online, like coordination with brush and other.
Hey, see,
your
he
other
followed
teammates.
me all the way here, and now he's inking the most valuable part of the entire map. That
Is that-
roller.
Yeah. See, this is what I'm talking about, though, right? I think it'll be really good for the early aggression plays, but if those don't pan out, then I think they'll be overtaken by heavier weapons. Sort of just like the early and long game of it. And if we're talking about Splat Zone, that doesn't have a definitive end time like Turf War.
Yes, it does. 5 minutes.
Is it?
If it goes to 5 minutes, then it just ends. Well, no. What happens is, okay, you have splat zones where you know splat zones. I'm not going to explain splat zones because that's not what this is about. But what happens then? Oh no, don't tell me that's landing on top of me. Okay, good. what happens is you have splat zones, you play out splat zones, but then it also has an independent timer, a match timer. If that timer goes to 5, which is the limit, if it goes to time, oh no, I'm stuck. Oh wait, no, I can roll away. No, I can't. No. If it goes to time, then what happens is if the losing team controls the zones, it will go into overtime until either the losing team gets down to the score where they beat the winning team, or if it gets to the point where the winning team takes over, and then they just automatically win. It will not go to overtime if the winning team already has it, or if nobody has it. So that's how the time limit works.
Okay. Well, even so, the point stands that the longer the game has to go on, the weaker that the Inkbrush and potentially even rollers get. Especially the Inkbrush, I feel.
I would say definitely for the Inkbrush, but I would have to disagree with rollers.
Well, explain yourself with what you mean by that. Why would the rollers be having a hard time later on?
Again, so if we think about it, it's just a matter of versus other weapons. If they're already in a fortified position, it's harder to break without long-range weaponry, and I mean it's pretty much just that, right? And if you're trying to fortify a position with a roller, you don't have the range needed to expand outward. Not necessarily that you need to move outward, but that you need to cover distance before they break your line. I don't think rollers get like much worse as the game goes on. I think the Inkbrush is the one with the real disadvantage there. But I just think from heavy positions on either side, I think the rollers are not quite as good. Like we talked about, like chargers are good in those positions, but they're not like as good in neutral because of that. They're not good at
They're not good at.
Sorry. I got a text. Anyway, they're not like I said, they're swing plays. You know, they have heavy swing potential, but they're not good at like the natural climb or just sort of aggressing normally. You have to set yourself up first, and then you can take advantage of a position if you're not knocked out. That's how I kind of feel about it. But when you do have that fortified position, and I mean, it also depends on how linear the map is, right? And how far you've aggressed up as per the usefulness of chargers. But from a relatively supported position, I think they're really good. From fortifying.
That guy just jumping and spraying with the brush?
Yeah, it makes you go further. Watch.
Oh, cool.
You're not gonna be able to see that for a few seconds, but yeah. So yeah, that's
I mean, that's just like a few things. You know, that roller came in to support you. It was a little bit late, and it was kind of good that the enemy wasn't immediately aggressing on your position. That could happen, because now there's like a huge swatch of area that's just covered. But anyway, so I mean, again, I think it really comes down to this. This offers a lot of early aggression, and if you comp around that, and you can take the early lead, I don't know if you'll have a place for a charger on that team. Is a problem, because again, you're still even just a little bit lacking the offensive power of the typical shooters, typical guns, essentially. So it'll be hard to fortify a position, but you can just snatch a lead and snatch a victory before that becomes a problem. Because after a point, if you can take a splat zone for a while, gain the lead, all you have to do at that point is contest it. And these weapons are really good at getting the points, and even if you don't necessarily win, you can contest them, right? Because they provide a lot of ink coverage to just sort of snatch the lead for a second and just sort of be nuisances. Meanwhile, it's a little bit harder for other weapons to take. It's a little bit harder for other styles of weapon to do that. I don't know. Would you think? What do you think about that as far as like the early aggression goes?
I agree with that. That the brush really can help you get to your points a lot faster and bring a teammate. Late game, I really don't see. Even in this map, this
Brush
map,
versus brush is so weird.
This map, it's not as linear, so might be a little easier late game, but I don't see this really doing well with what's that place called?
That's all the brush.
Which one?
I'm trying to. It's the really long one with the one that I was playing.
Airwana Mall?
Yeah, that one. Like I don't see brush really doing much to help there.
No, actually, if you can quickly get in and swoop behind the team, you can seriously screw them up there. Yeah.
If you have the support. And that's what it comes down to, right? Now, there is an issue with that, and I actually meant to bring it up. The problem is, if you do something, and it's why it's not a threat on its own, right? Because if you do something like that, it means you're losing pressure at other points of the map. So it means the enemy team is going to naturally consolidate on just you two. At that point, that kind of thing. It doesn't offer enough pressure on its own. And that's kind of like the key thing here, right? If they wipe 3 dudes and it's just you and your Inkbrush, they don't really have to bother with it, right?
Well, they want to make sure that you don't get behind them and
Yeah.
people super jump onto you behind their entrenched position, which severely weakens them.
Because then you can pincer on them. You're not like an immediate threat though, to the point that they're going to have to respawn and come back, and then it's like at that point you've already built the trail to you, right? And that's kind of what I'm getting at here.
Wait, are you saying if the opponent dang it, if the opponent is the one who
Has to respawn.
has to respawn? Oh, I thought you were talking about if your teammates have to respawn.
Oh no, I mean, I wasn't clear enough there. I can see that now. I was saying that if your teammates all die, you don't offer enough pressure on your own to contest a point on the map.
Oh jeez.
Whereas a lot of other weapons can handle at least one person, you know. But the Inkbrush struggles with even that, as we can really plainly see here. So it's not like another weapon. Like say that you had a charger, and you know you were behind enemy lines, and you were the one setting up these points.
Ooh.
Okay, sorry, I was looking at the X-ray. You know, if you had a charger and you were behind enemy lines, you actually threaten to take out all of them, right? And at that point, you can create a pathway for your team from the middle position, you know, the middle ground of the map, where they can aggress in and the enemy team has to respawn. You know, that's a lot of pressure on the map, right? The Inkbrush doesn't really provide that much, though, as far as the offensive pressure.
No, I don't. Yeah, I see what you mean. I think it just comes down to. It seems like the rollers. I can actually see, it coming down to for splat zones, team combinations being 1 charger, 2 gunners, and then either roller or gunner, because the rollers like provide would be some interesting utility slot that you could fulfill in another way. There's not really a whole lot that in splat zones that a roller can do that a charger or a gunner can't. Oh jeez.
Now that's what Splat Zone.
Well, that's the default
I can
competitive map or mode.
I can definitely see where you're coming from. See, I think the thing is, it's again, it's from the you're considering it from a neutral position, right? From a neutral position, the roller's much worse as far as that goes. And in theory, chargers and rollers have very similar ideas on what they want to do, right? The thing is,
And
rollers
look,
have,
Reavers.
but the thing is, rollers have when you're actually in, and this is what I meant too when I said it's a win more position. In that when you're already in, they offer huge pressure because you threaten to die, you threaten to kill people in a second, like literally no reaction. And that's the difference. Chargers don't necessarily offer that. You can pick people off, and they are very strong. And that's the area where they differ, right?
Yeah. Although, and it's the aerospray fulfills a similar role, which is part of why I feel like you don't see as many aerosprays in splat zones.
You think it offers the same position as what the
Because
hell?
aerospray, they're kind of like rollers actually. They spread a lot of ink very easily. They're super short range, but if you get in their kill range, they will kill you. It's just, I think that's part of why you don't see as many aerosprays in splat zones. In splat zones, alright, this one guy, which is the only person who's actually really gone on record so far. This one guy who was A+, said once that he mainly sees Splattershot pros in splat zones. And the Splattershot Pro is a long-range gunner weapon. It's not the longest range, it's not a squelcher, but it's the second longest range. And it kills faster than a squelcher. And Splattershot Pro also, the main set, has an Ink Strike on it, and people really like Ink Strike.
Ink Strike's really good, especially in like a splat zone, where it's just like you kind of just drop it on the zone and you can help retake it in like a second.
Yeah, this is the map I was talking about, Alex. This I don't see the brush doing so well, especially late game.
Actually, this is the one where I thought Brush would do decently well.
But like I said,
even
it
though
gets you there quick. It gets you like throughout the area very fast, but end game, I don't see it really doing too much.
So let's consider what actually what we just saw, right, Hiles? We just saw Alex begin to walk up, right? So it's a linear map, right? But it offers a lot of vectors of entry into this zone. You can see via the ledges and stuff. You can come straight down the middle. It offers a lot
By the way,
of like,
those trucks aren't there in ranked battles, in splat zones.
No.
it offers a lot of basic vectors of entry into kind of a clumped area. And so with the quick speed, you can kind of surprise. I feel like you might be able to kind of surprise people.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've definitely been surprised by people who make very good use of the tracking bomb. I forget what it's called right now. But that one, people can use that to ride behind, just like you can ride behind a paintbrush.
I was thinking about that a lot actually.
That one, it just came out.
Yeah, the bomb shoot thing. It reminds me of bomb shoots in Zelda.
Yeah, it does look like a bomb shoot.
But I think I actually mentioned that a little bit when I was playing. I don't know if you remember or not. But I said that you could throw one down and just follow behind it. I thought that was kind of cool.
That's something actually Nintendo actually came out and said when they were demonstrating the game before anybody even had a chance to research anything.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious, you know. You throw it out, it makes an ink trail, follow the ink trail. That's how you swim, right?
Almost had him.
And I think actually the Inkbrush plays a lot like that. It's just more versatile, in that it's not just one vector. It's
The thing is, it's
whatever
more
you-
versatile than a sub weapon. When
Yeah.
the person who has it as a sub weapon has a whole other weapon to work with.
Yeah, definitely. But it's kind of an extension of that, though, right? You kind of want to do the same thing, and that's why I think rollers are support roles. Wow, you jumped in and you got bopped. But that's why I say that rollers are support classes, because well, as far as the Inkbrush is concerned, I think the regular rollers are kind of support classes too. But again, they offer a bit more pressure, which is kind of cool. But you can think of the Inkbrush as an extended bomb shoot, kind of. right? In that you follow behind it, you get to where you want to go pretty quick.
Oh, sorry.
That's important. No, super jumping into an unfortified position is stupid. Or when you don't know what's going on. In competitive play, I think super jumping is going to see a lot of use because it
Yeah.
means that
There is actually real quick. There is an ability called Stealth Super Jump where it makes super jumps shorter, but it does not have the super jump circle. And that sees a lot of use. That ability.
Yeah, well, definitely. See, that's the thing. That's basically what this is, right? Your utility position in that you're not offering pressure yourself. Well,
What?
80% of the time you try and super jump, you're a dildo. Well, yeah, the guy in chat.
Sorry, I looked away. Oh wait.
The OG curbs.
Oh, the OG Curbs. That's Sandman.
Oh, is it?
Oh, hey, Sam.
Hey, Sandman. Why don't you go back to playing Soul Calibur?
He likes Splatoon.
I know it does.
No.
Alex did that.
He's salty at Splatoon because he has a bad internet connection, so he lags.
Oh god. I'm salty at Soul Calibur when I had to fight Blue Boy. Legendarily bad.
This is a very strange fight. He's actually really good right now, but that's off topic.
Is it good? Well, I'm glad. Calibur 6 soon.
I don't want no Caliber 6.
Well, there was some news with that, but I don't want to get into that on this stream.
Yeah, we're not worried about that.
Oh no.
But basically, I think the position that the Inkbrush is going to fill, it's going to be mainly a support role. And speaking of super jumping, I think it's going to be great. You walk in, you set down those beacons, your team gets to super jump in, or they can just follow behind you. Because of how fast and evasive you are, you're able to move around, hopefully not get killed.
Hopefully not get killed.
And you can continue setting up those points for your team when they come out. That way you can offer constant pressure. Meanwhile, the other team, if they lose their position, it's going to be kind of messed up.
Come on! I'm trying to get rid of this thing. I am not good at getting rid of that! Oh, I didn't realize in time.
My video is totally mowed. I can't see anything. I mean, it's not really relevant. I've seen what the Inkbrush can do, so yeah, I have a pretty good idea. Do you think there's really a whole lot? I mean, what's your opinion on all this stuff, Alex, Piles, both of you?
Well, I've been saying like what I think about the brush, and really because I'm mostly when I looked at this game, the first thing I said is I would, for like any of them, I didn't play many shooters, but whenever I played Call of Duty or any of them, I was mostly a supporter. I never really went in. I never really jumped off roof 360 no scoped. I wasn't that MLG.
120 MLG blazing.
I wasn't that MLG.
If it isn't clear already, I do want to make a note that 360 no scoping is actually really stupid competitively.
Stupid, yeah. It is.
Stupid, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't usually go in for matches. When I play Call of Duty,
360s are really swag. That's what.
But when I first saw this game and I saw the roller, like when all shooters I played supportive. When I played like Call of Duty, I never really went in and never really did anything really much for the team. I stayed back. I really just sniped and stuff. That's what I really like. But also, I was really big. I liked more of like capture the flag, like elements where you didn't have to just go and it wasn't important to kill. It was more important of some other task. That's why I like a lot of Splatoon.
That's true of any good shooter, really, though. I mean, kills help because it means you don't have an opponent on the field, but almost any good shooter is an objective-based one.
Yeah, I don't like Call of Duty where it's like deathmatch. I mean, I played deathmatch a good bit, but like I said, all I did was stay back and I was supportive. So when I first saw this game and I saw the roller, I was like, I like that. That's what I want to use. That's what I'm probably gonna only use. And I really am gonna, and I don't think I'll ever change. I mean, I'll go to like Splattershot Junior and stuff sometimes, or I don't know about the Charger, but I really like the roller. I feel it's. Go ahead.
I feel like Nintendo kind of, I don't know if they could have done anything else, but it feels like they kind of gimped themselves in some ways with the roller. It feels like roller only really shines in Turf War. Again, I can't say anything about Rainmaker because we don't even know the rules of that yet. But it seems like it only really shines in Turf War. And then they make Turf War their casual mode, as they put it, and Splatzone's their competitive mode. And so it's like, oh, are you telling me that rollers aren't competitive now? I mean, because that's kind of what you're telling me.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as that goes, I think it was just kind of thought of in the simple player mindset, in that, oh, the roller's really good at killing people. They're gonna use it because it kills people. When that's, people will smart enough and realize that's not the point of the game.
Yeah. Like, what I see for the roller is, what I really like with it is that I can get in, and I really didn't care much for kills. And if I died, that was not my point. It was like, I was like, okay, I died. And, like, my point at that point was like, I died, whatever, they got me. Let me look at the map. Let me see where I can go to next that has two things mostly. This is the main thing I look for whenever I look at the map is, where's the people on the map, if there's any, like, relevance. Like, I mostly look at, like, where the paint is. And, whatever area looks like it's becoming more of the other color, it's like, okay, there's more of them there. Whatever area looks like it's not getting a lot of, like, color, it's like, alright, let me go there, let me try and take whatever I can without them really seeing. And then, like, they don't really know, they have to look down at their map and be like, oh, we're losing this area, and by the time they get there, I'm in another area already taking.
That's not gonna work in if competitive.
Not with Splatter.
No. If competitive Turf War becomes a thing, which I hope it does, actually, I would personally rather Turf War be the main competitive mode than Splatoon, because it seems like it actually would work, contrary to what I thought before, as a competitive mode, and I hope it does. But anyway, if Turf War were to become a competitive mode in the way that it currently is panning out, that wouldn't work. Because people would have, like I was saying there multiple times before. No! Sorry. Well, I was saying multiple times before, there's the idea of the line, where there's essentially 3 zones in Turf War. There's your area, there's the opponent's area, and then there's a line of contention between that. And you're constantly trying to push the line towards their base by breaking it and pushing them back and doing whatever you can to push the line to claim more area. If you're a roller in that situation, you're going to be good at covering up the inked area the other guys haven't gotten yet, which is because, and that's going to happen a lot. Dang it. That's going to happen a lot because you're going to have, yeah, I heard that too. It's going to happen a lot because you're going to have people just running up to the front lines and then not inking the main area, and that's fine. You'll have the people going to the front lines, not inking the main area, and then you'll have the roller stand back and then ink the rest of the area. But then once the rest of the area is inked, if your team hasn't pushed through, then you have to try to help them push through. And
I see the kind of role you're taking. So you mean to play it like defensively, mostly.
Yeah.
And then use it to aggress when you absolutely need to.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that actually that'd be really good. It's really good at retaking those small bits when they actually do push in. See, the thing about it is, like, you don't actually need to fully retake.
Give me a quick second.
Sure.
I want to say the point beacon is is a sub weapon, but that also does not have a super jump ring. I'm talking to the OG curves here, and the zapper is a good weapon. It's a very good weapon. All right.
Sorry. I was saying the thing about that is though you don't necessarily need to. I mean, as far as Turf War is concerned, the more area you have, the better. But you don't necessarily need to fully cover an area that was aggressed into. You just need to cut it off to the point where they can't really swim through it. So if there's like a decent-sized splotch, way back in your lines, you can take it if you want. But I think you might have more pressing matters to attend to. So it's kind of like an afterthought. But that does sound like a really good way to use rollers if you have to, They're probably really good defensive weapons because
like what role would the roller what role would the roller fulfill if it can't do that, then it would have to help with the line. And I mean, yeah, it can help with the line, But
it's
it'll be
so-
outclassed pretty much every single time by a gun.
So let's consider, oh man, that charger. So that charger is like what I would imagine would fulfill the role that I'm about to talk about. But it's a matter of the roller cover is like a super like wide area with ink, right?
Yeah.
So in these corridor style games, what you could do is, and I told you about this before, and you seem to appreciate the idea just a little bit, is that you could kind of charge the attack, and then pop out of the boxes, and then cover the whole area with ink, and then just kind of walk back, and then you could move up to, you could move up a little bit. You could take another defensive position and kind of aggress that way. It's very slow, and I think you would need some kind of covering fire in order to effectively do it.
You would definitely need covering fire. But I'm saying, you can do the same thing with an arrow spray and have gunner options.
I'm not sure if the arrow spray would be consistent enough to do that. Also, it doesn't cover area quite. I mean, it shoots really fast. That's fine. It doesn't cover the same kind of area quite as quickly. Like the dynamo right now could cover like this whole square of area where you're in, right? The whole middle ground. It could cover like half of it with like one splat, you know. While the arrow spray has to kind of shoot around, and it doesn't earn you as many points overall because it's going to be splotchy, like really splotchy. And until for the switch. Plus, and again, chargers can fulfill this exact same role. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Plus, they're a little bit more versatile. They don't have the same level of aggression, but they still have a lot of aggression to them, and that's what's really important to do. But chargers can do the same thing, firing down corridors, moving up a little bit, firing down corridors, moving up a little bit, and they cover relatively wide bursts of area, so there's no reason they can't do it.
Yeah. Actually, I was saying that before. That's the one thing that I do with the E-leader on this map in ranked play. Should have gone after him while he was busy. Got him.
Got him.
MLG Pro. But anyway,
Oh.
that's what I do with the E-leader. I just shoot down the corridors and I make sure the corridors are covered with Artene's ink.
Because that gives you a good point. See, and again, it all comes from the fact that your ink slows down the enemy, so it lets you aggress and keeps them at bay. You know, plus, if they try to come out and take that corridor, they have to deal with your actual shots. Oh, the other thing I was going, the thing I was going to say was the problem with that is the ammo consumption, right? Because chargers, for the most part, seem to consume ammo very quickly. So there's kind of these off periods. You kind of have to fire in like volleys, right? Like it would be. But the thing is, if you have two chargers, you're sort of, as you said, gimped to begin with. But if you could fire like volleys back and forth, you could continuously cover that area. One person could charge their ink, and the other one does, while the other one fires. But then you're at a disadvantage to begin with. So it's all kind of like creates this really strange dynamic. You know? That I'm not sure where it would fall yet. And again, like I don't have a lot of experience with the game itself. This is just sort of mostly from what I've been watching and what you've been talking about. That's where I get like all of this stuff from, and my own background in competitive shooters and whatnot.
Oof, my hand's getting tired. This is one of the few games that my hands start to get sore if I play for long periods of time.
Really?
What do you mean, really?
I would think more of like since you use like a hitbox, I would think a fighting game would tire you out more than this. 'Cause this doesn't seem like you do too much with your hands. That's just for me personally.
Well, cause
like I wouldn't get tired from this. I would more get tired if I used hitbox.
Well, the thing is with this, you're constantly gripping the controller, and you're constantly like doing stuff. In a fighting game, there's actually a lot of downtime when it comes to inputs. Dang it. Yeah, there's a lot of downtime when it comes to inputs in fighting games. So I can just have my hands rest a lot of the times. Like, yeah, maybe I'll be resting on the guard button, but I'm resting.
No, I'm saying like for fighting games, I'm just saying for you as a hitbox player.
No, that's even,
just how
you
I
can
see
rest
it.
even more because you're not gripping the controller. It was just I'm mashing the fire button to get that ink spread out. But anyway, that's off topic.
Yeah.
And a Kraken just kind of swam by.
I didn't see Kraken. Where I don't see him.
Yeah, that's the other. That's kind of another thing that differentiates rollers from Trojans is the ammo capacity and the ammo use rate. You know, I mean that can be helped a lot with abilities and whatnot.
Oh,
I tried to use. I actually did use Ink Saver Main a lot. Ink Saver Main with Ink Recovery up, but now instead I use Tenacity because when you use a super, it automatically fills your meter, and I use ink resistant run speed, so you can easily get through enemy ink without having to worry too much. Because I mean, look how slow I go. You're gonna see that later on, but people who are watching Archive or watching the stream right now saw me just walk through ink, and I was super slow. So if someone inks like your feet as a charger, you can't get away because you can't shoot the ground. So you have to. You're kind of gimped. But if you have ink resistance, then you can just walk away.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense. And it's not a bad mechanic. I'm not a particular fan of how slowly you do move through enemy ink.
Are we winning? I think
It makes solo play kind of like a huge pain, you know.
Yeah, solo play doesn't seem like really shine here. Whoa.
Yeah, I mean it's not. Ah! We are talking about like how the competitive team play might evolve. But I really think I probably voiced pretty much everything that I would have to say about the Inkbrush.
And then some. Oh no, this is gonna hurt.
Oh, yeah, I've been talking a lot. I'm sorry.
No.
That's
I'm
good.
not complaining.
Talk more. I want to hear your voice.
What
I
do you
like your voice.
What do you think, Hiles? What's your pleb opinion on this?
My pleb opinion? Thanks.
We need more grade. You're a bad lord.
Alright, so here's what I think. Alright, paintbrush is nice, but you know, paintbrush isn't that good. I mean, like, if you're trying to, like, it's okay, it's pretty good. If you're trying to paint a masterpiece, you're going for the Mona Lisa. It's pretty good. You did paintbrush. You can't do that shit with a roller.
That's not gonna work. It's gonna
Actually,
a nice shirt. It's gonna be a stretch of paper. It's gonna be tailored.
actually, this is called the Pablo in Japan.
Is it? That's pretty great.
Because, yeah, I saw you post that about, because of Picasso or something.
Because of Picasso or something. You uncultured
Swine.
Why do you think I called him a pleb?
I was about to say, I don't know art. I'm an uncultured swine. Explain this shit.
OG Curves just beat Sandman 3-4. I mean, he beat KB 3-4.
He just beat himself. That's not a for children.
Wow. Two ink brushes. We both went the same way, and we both realized we shouldn't both go the same way, so we both got off and went in a different direction. We were going the same way again.
Help. I just want to help.
Oh, I got hit by the sculpture. Yeah, the sculpture's the longest range.
I just saw,
We just saw it. That's so good.
Like, oh, well, I'm gonna go down there. Me too. Well, fuck.
There's a reason you yell like that in sports games. I mean, in sports. Anyway, what do you think? I mean, seriously, Hiles. Would you use the roller? I mean, I'm sorry, would you use the paintbrush?
I personally would not use the paintbrush.
Why wouldn't you use the paintbrush?
There are different, like, I would try it, I guess, but I still would have to try the feel. But from what I see it right now, and for what I like with the roller and what I like to do with the roller, it doesn't really, like the main goal and pretty much the main thing, because I mostly play, I haven't played Splatoon, but the main goal is, like, to really cover as much as you can with ink. And I find the roller does that so much more efficiently than the brush. I mean, the brush, you have to move, stop, and of course you are faster, but the roller, you just pile through. Like, this whole corridor, this hallway you're walking through, as I'm seeing right now, you don't have to just do one row or, like, keep stopping and sliding. You can just straight walk. You'll get that whole thing. Same with the upper areas. If you saw when I played a lot, every time I started, I would go for the upper areas, and I could just go right through and get the whole thing in one go. Like, just going, like, running through regularly. I don't have to, like, keep going back and forth or around and getting as much as I can. Like, just walking through it once covers the whole thing. And in Turf War, that's pretty much the idea for what you want with Turf War. You're trying to get as much as you can. You're trying to just really cover your ink and get rid of everything of the opponent's ink. And that's why I like with roller. That's why I like using roller. The paintbrush, I don't see the paintbrush doing that.
Oh wait, I
for me,
survived?
I don't see the paintbrush doing that for the team. I see the paintbrush, like we were saying earlier, the paintbrush is good to help get you around and stuff. But I don't feel it's really helpful. It's a supportive thing. I really don't like too much. I don't know how it would do for Splatter Zone. And I'd have to play. I mean, Splat Zone. I'd have to play Splat Zone also a little more. I don't own this game.
Well, like I was saying
I
before,
want this game though. I want it so bad.
Splat Zones and Turf War actually end up playing very similar.
I'll have to play next time.
At least
at your
when
place.
you have good players.
I'll have to play next time when I'm at your place.
See, well, what he's saying is pretty much why I don't consider Roller and Inkbrush in the same class. Even though they're the same type of weapon, they have very different functions.
That is definitely something I was thinking about. The paint. It seems like the paintbrush to rollers is the same as the sculpture to chargers. Because the reason, if anybody's been wondering, the reason why I don't consider the sculpture like a normal charger, and I don't consider it when I'm thinking about rolls, and I think of it more as a gunner, is it charges up super quickly, but it has super short range. It's effectively like a little bit longer range than the jet squelcher, which you can't fortify a position with that like you can with a charger, like with a normal charger. So that's why I don't consider what's it called, the Squiffer, a really like a charger weapon. You have to get in close. You can't stand on the perch and then shoot people. Things are actually like measured out almost perfectly in some of these maps, so that even the longest range chargers can only hit these areas. And the Squiffer from the default sniper perches, the Squiffer can't even hit like the basic areas that you need to stand there and hit, where a charger can, and an E-liter can hit that and then some. I hope they go with more interesting roller types and charger types in the future, though, because like chargers and rollers are actually pretty straightforward right now, whereas the gunners are the ones that have all the different types. You've got your splatter shot series, but then you also have the squelcher series, and then you also have the blaster series. You've got the gallon series with the 9.6. Oh, hello, with .96 and the .56 gal, I think they're called. I don't know the exact numbers. But yeah, you've got the.
I'll turn down the volume on that.
You've got
I'm trying to fix up my TV.
the gallon series. What else do you have? You have the aerospray series. You have a lot of variations of guns that you just don't have with the ow.
Oh, hello.
With the rollers or chargers. We're starting to see some variation. The Squiffer's an interesting idea. The paintbrush is an interesting idea. I hope they can take it to the next level and do other interesting things.
I mean, see, the thing is, essentially you only really have 3 archetypes of weapons right now. And I don't think it really, especially like, 3 weapons, 4-man teams, this kind of numbers don't really add up. I think when they have more variation in the game, it's going to be like really good, like really complex stuff. And, the stuff that I was talking about as far as like team archetypes, like I think the paintbrush is like a super aggressive archetype weapon. I think those will come out and really shine more, and the game will it'll begin to vary like dramatically in that. And I think the styles of gameplay will vary dramatically.
So I guess we'll end it on this match.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, alright.
I mean, have you said everything you wanted to say?
I can't really think of anything else to say.
Yeah. I mean, we've covered most of it. We talked about a lot. How long's the session so far?
About an hour and a half.
Now I came in late, so I don't know if you guys talked about it, but what you just said is, with different varieties for guns and things, do you see them maybe doing different, oh god, that's a Kraken. Do you see them maybe doing different variety of the paintbrush, like maybe a wider brush?
No, because that's a roller.
No, definitely not. I mean, it has a specific purpose in mind, so it doesn't need a variation. It does exactly what it's supposed to do.
I might see a paintbrush with different sub and special. We might see that.
Oh, yeah, no, that'd be really good. I would appreciate that a lot.
I would think for I think the grenades are probably actually, what else are there for specials? There's the grenades, the killer whale. There's this one that you have right now. What else is there? The Kraken. I think the Kraken could be pretty good for a brush.
I think the Kraken and the brush serve similar purposes, so it wouldn't be a good variety fit. I think I don't. I think as for specials, I think the killer whale would be really good because it would allow you to sort of cover two areas together, and you do spread a lot of ink, so you gain. I feel like you gain super like relatively quickly as like Oh my god, you guys got crushed that match.
Ooh,
I feel like you build ink like
Tyrannosaurus erect.
you build special a lot faster than like a gunner or something. So you'll have the availability to use that, and so I think what'll end up happening is you'll rush in, you'll get the super, and then you'll be able to actually defend the position that you just entered. And I
Are you
think
wearing a schoolgirl outfit?
I'm wearing yeah, for the torso part. It's one of the amiibo rewards from the Inkling girl.
then you got a 6 snapback to go with it.
Uh-huh.
Swag in.
Oh man, you should see my main character. I've got this really terrible, bulky striped sweater, and I've got these really thick black glasses that look like they came off a nerd from the 1950s, and I got these super colorful shoes. I look really stupid.
You look like a hipster.
Somebody's name is Wii U.
Well, our weird name was Squid Now Kid Now.
I'm playing with Wii U.
Oh man, that's terrifying. Anyway,
It's actually Reggie. You're playing with Reggie.
is your body Reggie?
My body is Reggie.
Okay. Anyway, I think the killer whale would be a great fit with this because it would, like I said, would allow you to defend and fortify the positions that you just opened up. And it'll give you like those really cool angles to prevent entry.
Well, you can fortify the positions already a little bit with the sprinkler. I just haven't been using that because I'm just not used to the sprinkler and that idea of play.
No, it's the sprinkler. It's a sub, right?
Yeah.
See, I really think like a scout kind of a scout archetype with the Inkbrush is going to be really good. Like when you can move away from the sprinkler to when you don't need it to fortify, and you can instead use it to you can instead use your sub to have the point beacon, so you can throw those things down. I mean, like imagine this, right? Imagine you get into a position, there's nobody in your immediate vicinity. You throw down a beacon to super jump to, and you throw down a killer whale, like at the same time.
See, I feel like that starts to infringe too much on the role of the crack-on roller.
You think so?
You don't want to just flat out do what another weapon does better. And I feel like you get dangerously close to that point if you were to do something like that.
I mean, again, it also comes down to the fact that, well, again, that specifically uses the Kraken, and I think Kraken isn't necessarily to defend a position. I think it's primarily to break lines.
Right, but
That's
I'm saying, but the roller can break lines without the Kraken because it can move so quickly, so it might be able to slip through. And
if it can, sure, but those will be undefended points that you might have been able to slip through already. Because again, the Kraken also provides a threat. You can break lines with it because it can kill you instantly, and that's terrifying. You're naturally going to retreat from that. If it's just an Inkbrush, if you're in the area defending, you're just going to shoot them down. That's how I feel. But I can definitely see like where you're coming from with the Kraken. That's for like defending those positions. And again, using a thicker roller means you can cover. You may not be able to go as many places, but you can cover areas quicker. It's a little bit of variation, and again, as the game evolves and more stuff is added in, we'll be able to see like that variation really come into play and how it affects the game. Right?
yeah.
Like I said, I think we'll also see the phases of the game evolve more. Just stuff I was talking about, like early game and all that. The rollers don't offer the early game aggression. While rollers may do similar things, they're better late game. Because they can cover more area that you've already been through, and they allow to defend positions more easily.
And
Inkbrush.
that actually starts to go into another area I've been thinking about recently, though. I mean, as much as this is all early game stuff, early meta, you have to wonder how much of this stuff really will change. Because, like, I've heard time and time again people say stuff about Smash 4, and people say, "Oh no, it's just the early meta," but in within within like a month, it settled down, and it hasn't really changed since that point.
I mean, I think about it like this: Melee's metagame is like 14 years old, and it's still like evolving. It's still undergoing like a lot of changes. There's still like a lot of discussion as to like, what top tier really is, and that kind of thing. And there's just like there's more stuff being done. People are becoming more adept, and it evolves the game even further. I don't think any game is really different. As people get better, new strategies are going to come out. Like I talked about how I felt like the movement was a little bit clunky with regular gunners as to what I kind of wanted to do. And, you talked about how you think you'd have to be like really focused in order to move like as efficiently as I had wanted. But I think as people get better, they might actually have access to that movement. So in that case, the brush might be phased out. If you think about stuff like that, I'm not saying it will. I'm saying it's a possibility that way.
Well, there's no way. To be clear on what you're talking about before, there's no way that you can move as fast as swimming, while you're not swimming unless you're using the brush.
I just mean people might get to a point where they can move really efficiently. Like, not as efficiently as
That
swimming.
was just a bubbled kraken. I don't know what to believe anymore.
That's terrible. How
What
wrecked,
is my life?
how wrecked can you get, friend? But that's hilarious. Anyway, see, the thing is, if the movement becomes like super efficient, like it's not as good as swimming. Obviously, nothing's as good as swimming. But if it gets to that point, it might be phased out by the sheer fact of people want more versatility in a weapon. They might want effectiveness. It all depends on how the meta evolves.
I should just break through. See, this is what I'm talking about. The line. They have a very good line right now. I should just break through. I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna brush. Just run.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like
Leroy.
But here's the thing. Like, you aren't required to sit there on the line to defend it. If your team can, it means you can aggress and be a nuisance, and then they can help push up as well. Right?
Yeah.
And regular rollers can fill, like, similar roles, just not as efficiently. Chargers can fill... Actually, I wouldn't say a charger fills that role as far as pushing up into the line. Yeah, see, look at you. Look at you go! Look at how cute you are. Ink and everything. You go, kid. And squid. I'm not judging. Like, you can come into these areas and just ink them up real quick. And those are like little swatches of area that they have to take back or they ignore and they lose for it,
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be really important to see how the meta evolves to say anything. I think if they do add more like variances in the archetype, I really think the changing team dynamic can make this come to the forefront. If they add better aggressive supporting options,
That one thing that I just did, by the way, earlier. I think like that's the one thing I think the roller's really good at, just plowing through the line because it's so fast. It's so hard to react to. Even a really good E-leader will not get that shot every time.
You mean Inkbrush?
That's what I meant, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, you said rolling. Man, you guys... Oh, yeah, because your line got busted back there and you guys got taken. You ended up swapping positions. It's pretty funny. It's actually, like, nearly mirrored. If you look at the map, it's pretty good. Anyway. Yeah, I can definitely see that, though. It all depends on how well defended a position is. And again, in Turf War, I think that's fine. I think in Splat Zones, it'll be different because you'll be fortifying a different position. And because it doesn't offer the same kind of pressure, you won't be able to actually do things like that efficiently. So this might see a lot more play in like exclusively Turf War, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think Turf War is perfectly fine if things pan out like you say they do, as far as being a competitive game type, Nothing inherently wrong with it. It's just different.
Yeah, my to make it clear, my initial issue with Turf War is I felt like there was too many viable options to the point where you just couldn't prepare for all of them, and you just end up like not having a cohesive plan and just kind of doing things. That was my original issue with Turf War. But then after playing for a good while and seeing how things go, you start to see that the idea of the line develop and all that, and then you can play off of. If there's rigid ideas like that, you can start to play off of them. If it's too chaotic, even like if it's like the idea, if everybody's broken, it's balanced, but it doesn't necessarily make it a good game.
I just had something I was going to say about that. The thing about it is that if spawns were random, I could definitely see like the whole too many options things, but they're not, right? Like, I don't even know how you're in their spawn right now. Like, that's actually insane to me. Like, there's no reason you should be this far up. And it's like, you couldn't defend this. Now, if spawns were random, right, then you could just literally have a team of, like, 4 Inkbrushes running around, ignoring everything, and just covering up areas. Because it's really hard to deal with that kind of aggressive play if you were in, like, a neutral... If the game existed from a neutral position. But because you have those set spawn points, it's hard to aggress into the back line. You know, and naturally people kind of, like, they want to defend the homeland. You know? So what ends up happening is the line is created because of that, because they want to defend the homeland.
Well, it's not just that.
It's not just that, but I think that's one of the reasons that it kind of develops on its own, you know. Whether people think about it or not.
Someone said it,
It's a killer.
part of the reason why the line develops is because inherently the middle is the most valuable turf in the map. The beginning of the map is you can just get it super easily from spawn, so who cares? You just got it, it's there. And then the beginning of your opponent's side's the same way. So the spawn's the only, the middle's the only point you can seriously actually take it and keep people out over your opponent. And so that's why the middle ends up being super valuable. And then that line kind of naturally forms from the middle. This is going to be very interesting. And so, with how that goes, then the line naturally forms from the middle, and then you're like, well, we don't want them, we want the middle. They don't want the middle. I mean, no, I'm sorry, we want the middle, and we don't want them to have the middle. So this idea of holding the middle, and then once you have the middle, it's like, oh, well, we have the middle, so we want to push even further or hold our advantage. And so from that, the concept of the line comes.
Okay, yeah, I understand that a little bit better now. Shit.
You know, I should probably make a quick video on that.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
God, it's 1 in the morning.
120.
123.
It's 420, blaze it, man.
Well, I think we got far off topic from the original idea of the paintbrush. So, yeah, we really exhaustively looked at this new weapon.
Yeah. I mean, I don't feel like we've exhaustively looked at it, you know? I mean, I still think there's so much more that's gonna happen.
I feel like we've exhaustively looked at it for as much as we can at this point.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That's a better statement, cleaner. Anyway, so I think, I mean, does anybody have like any final thoughts they want to share on?
I want to say the rollers are good. All right, I know my brother. I'm now infamous for saying this way too much to my brother, but the roller, I'm sorry, the Inkbrush, along with pretty much every other weapon in the game, it's a good weapon if you know how to use it.
Oh. Yeah, I can. I mean, I think it has like a very specific strategic use.
Yeah.
And
And it's good at that if you know how to use it. Yeah. What the heck happened there? Yeah.
Guns are good if you know how to use them. If you don't, people die. But if you do, people die.
Guns don't kill people. The government does.
Did you see Nintendo actually shared some of the Miiverse posts?
Oh God, like which ones?
There was one where it's Stay Fresh, but it's a Fresh Prince. There was, I forget what some of them were, and then one of them was Dale saying, The government's coming and taking our kids and turning them into squids.
I wanted them. I like a lot of the me posts are weird though.
Oh, one
Some
of
are
them was, you like Splatoon, don't you, Squidward?
Well, some are like that. Like those are like the ideal of good ones. And then there's ones I don't want to say on stream, but we've seen some weird ones.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna. You'll know what I'm talking about. But the one guy saying this game is so fun and what it reminds him.
Oh, we could say that on stream.
Okay.
It's just, it was so weird, and it was just like it was so weird. We were recording for our single player Let's Play, and right when we ended our session, we went back to the lobby. It's like, yeah, let's look at some Miiverse posts. And one of them said, Splatoon is so fun, it reminds me of pooping. It's like, okay.
It's just like, hi, how are you? But
When
then
it
there's
doesn't
like
hurt,
some,
it's so satisfying.
but then there's like ones that are just disturbing for what they draw.
Yeah, there's definitely some of those.
But like there was one I really liked a lot.
All right.
And first
you
of all,
guys ready for
people
this?
on the
I mean,
wait, what?
you guys you're gonna have to Let's break through!
Oh shit! What?
I want to break free.
I want to break free.
Here, I broke through the line and I took somebody with me.
Nice.
Um,
See, like, that's really cool because now they have to go deal with it.
But like I was saying, like some are just disturbingly drawn. That like, but there was one I really liked. First of all, a lot of the people they draw so beautifully on Miiverse. Some people really show what they can do on Miiverse, which is nice. But one I really liked was one of the squid girls, and she's making like a puffy face, like puffing her like cheeks, and she's next to a checkbox that says squid or kid, like she has to check one off. Like she can't decide. Like that was one of the ones I really liked in
Get wrecked. Alright,
in
we lost.
in that. I also like any Miiverse post that draws Marie.
Alright. Well, yeah, alright, so we're definitely way off topic here. So,
Repost is always on topic, Squidward.
actually,
Easy.
no, I'm not getting into that now. But anyway, so,
This was,
yeah.
we did the talks.
I came in late, but I helped with the
Hopefully we
talk
can
a little
get
bit.
some more people in, like Sandman.
We're talking to you, Sandman.
Sandman, more like nerd.
Oh.
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 Poor people. Oh.
Let me no.
I swear, I went to. This is super duper off topic. I went to a show, cabaret, and it's a really, it's a cabaret show, not like cabaret style, but it's like about a cabaret. And during the intermission, the MC comes out, and he's like, because he's German, he's like, "Hello, how is everybody doing today? How are you?" And he looks at the people in the cheap seat. He's like, "Hello, how are you doing? Hello, poor people." It was so good.
Alright, I'm gonna end it on there.